They're everywhere, zipping through traffic, across pavements, and even weaving down roads.
But catching them is no easy task.
Here's the thing, most people don't realise they're breaking the law when it comes to riding their e-bike or e-scooter.
E-bikes and e-scooters are also quite commonly used in crime. So today we're here at Charles Cross Police Station in Plymouth. We're going to go out with the teams on the ground and we're going to show you how we deal with the illegal and irresponsible use of e-scooters and e-bikes. Now we need to try and understand what exactly makes an e-bike or an e-scooter illegal. So we've got a couple of examples that we've seized in previous operations. Let's go and have a look at those and I'll try and explain how it works. Now this is a perfect example of a disastrous e-bike, and this one is completely illegal. So let's have a look at it and I'll try and explain why. Now, for an e-bike to be legal, it's electrically assisted pedal cycle. Now what that means is that the motor must help the pedals in its simplest form. So what it's doing is it's assisting the pedaling. It can't be so that it goes on its own without the pedals, and your e-bike must have pedals on it for obvious reasons. So if we look at this one, we'll see that this one has been adapted with an aftermarket kit. So you can buy these things that go in, but a lot of this is illegal, and you can see this is all really untidy. It's probably a fire risk as well, but we'll have a look at that afterwards. So with this one, if you turn it on, you can see that just by twisting the throttle here, the back wheel will spin at quite a considerable rate. Now it's not allowed to do that. On some bikes, it's got walk assist, and that means that the electric motor will work up to a maximum speed of 3.7 mile an hour, and that's called walk assist. You see that sometimes on bigger ones that have frames behind them for heavier weights and things like that. But for this one, to be able to just twist the throttle and that back wheel to spin like that, that's illegal. Okay, you've got a maximum speed of how fast it can go before the motor cuts out and you're down to pedal power only. That maximum speed is 15.5 miles per hour. Also, the motor that's fitted to the bike can't be any more than 250 watts. Now there's one other critical thing that we haven't mentioned. To be able to ride an e-bike, you must be over the age of 14. Now e-scooters should hopefully be a little more simple to explain. Now an e-scooter is technically a mechanically propelled vehicle, and that's because it goes on its own under its own power. Now, to be able to ride or drive a mechanically propelled vehicle, you need to have your driving license, you need to have insurance, it needs to be taxed, and you cannot get insurance for one of these things. There is no company that will insure an e-scooter that is privately owned, so that makes it illegal for you to be able to use it on the road as it currently stands. Now, for ones that are in a hire scheme, they are covered by the hire scheme's insurance and everything else. So that means that the hire scheme are paying for the insurance and everything else to be able to make it that you can ride that machine within the hire scheme. So unfortunately, e-scooters, as they are at the moment, privately owned, you can only use them on private land. You cannot use them on the road, and you cannot use them on the pavement or anywhere else in a public place. So unfortunately, at the moment, this thing is a no.
So I'm going to paint a picture for you. You're driving around town, minding your own business on the way to work, and an illegal driver, whether that be on an e-bike, an e-scooter, or in a car or on a motorbike, smashes into the side of your vehicle and does a runner. You're then left to front the bill for the damages to your car. That is exactly why I swear on this channel that having a dash cam is one of the best things you can buy. This Road Angel Halo Play in here is absolutely amazing, and I'm going to tell you why. It records 4K on the front, 1080p on the back. It does night vision. It's also got parking mode if you choose to leave your pride and joy unattended in a car park. So if someone were to reverse into it, it's going to record who did it so that you can use it in court, or if you were to report it to your insurance. Now, not only does it give you that peace of mind when driving, so that you know that if something were to happen, that mishap on the road, you are covered and you can prove yourself in the right. It's just a really, really good bit of kit. So if you want to keep safe in your car and make sure that you're covered in the event of a mishap, use the link in the description, go hit up Road Angel and make sure you get yourself the Road Angel Halo Play. Thanks guys, big ups to Road Angel for supporting this video, but let's get on with e-scooters.
Now, before we go out on the operation, it's probably worth mentioning whilst we're outside custody that we work with other agencies as well when we're doing these ops. Now today we're working with immigration as well, so when we are stopping riders that may be part of the gig economy, we're checking immigration status and also their permissions to work as well. But also e-bikes and e-scooters are quite commonly used in crime. They're used for dealing drugs and moving things around the city. So we're also checking for things like that. So let's go out on the op and let's see what we get.
With almost 300,000 people living in Plymouth, it's a hustling business hub, with people trying to get to their destinations as fast as possible. E-bikes and e-scooters are zooming around everywhere. It's like fishing in a barrel to the police. The general atmosphere during the operation was good. There wasn't any significant retaliation. In fact, the general perspective from the public was mainly positive, apart from the people that had their bikes and scooters seized. In today's operation in Plymouth, Owen and his team are in coordination with the drone police. They like to work in secrecy as their intel is crucial, as this helps them be effective and efficient.
So we've come up to have a look at the drone setup up here. From here we can put the drone up and we can cover quite large areas of the city centre, much more than the units on the ground can do. When the drones pick up what they think is probably an illegal e-bike, and we can see that by looking at whether the rider is pedalling and how fast they're going. If it doesn't look right, then they can relay that information down to the ground, and the rider will be intercepted on the ground by the ground units. But also it gives us the footage as well, so that if we need it, we've got that footage and we can use that if we need to.
Part of our operation today, looking at e-bikes, is we're also looking at mopeds, especially ones connected to the food delivery business, because we know some of them are not riding legally, especially with no insurance. So that we had two officers just stop a moped, and they were working with our immigration colleagues to check that the person that was stopped was basically legally working in this country. So they conducted a number of checks, and they concluded that the person that they stopped was entitled to work. So they had confirmed that.
So one thing I've noticed today is that I imagine there's going to be a lot of people moaning, but actually there's a good proportion of people that are really happy, even particularly people being pulled over on their e-bikes, saying that they're happy to be really happy about seeing this.
Yes, and I think that was reflected in a similar op we did 2 weeks ago. So most people that we stop, the large majority, are happy that they're getting stopped. They actually want us to do more work on these illegal bikes because it affects their own ability to work. Because these bikes are going at excessive speeds, therefore they're picking up more of the delivery work, so taking work off riders who are legally working on slower bikes. So you can understand why they're actually in agreement with the rest of the wider community and the public about us doing more work to stop these bikes being on our pavements, on our streets and in our community spaces.
Some of the bikes we saw coming this morning had some very ropey, rogue electronics done to them where they've been modified.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of people, go on to social media and other platforms to look to see how they can modify their bikes, and they basically do these modifications themselves with basically no experience or know-how, and a lot of the components are being shipped in from countries where the regulations are not there to make sure that those components are safe in the first place. So you've got a whole melting pot of risk really around the way these bikes are modified, which presents risks out in public, but also within dwellings and flats around fire hazards.
Now we're here at Bobby Tracy Fire Station, and you've seen, or at least you've heard from us, what Owen's team has actually seized today. Yep. And I've got a couple of questions, and I'm sure it's going to be of value to these guys. So talk to us as to why you get what you pay for when it comes to e-scooters and e-bikes. What's the dangers of lithium-ion batteries?
The dangers around any battery charging are much the same. If you're using doctored equipment, or stuff you've tampered with yourself or hasn't been done by a professional, you're using cheap replacements, or anything with any damage, it can start what's called a thermal runaway within the cell, and increases your risk of fire.
Now we've all heard of things like whether it be cheap vapes, cheap mobile phones, or anything for that matter that has lithium-ion batteries. I mean, those battery chargers that everyone uses and they carry around in their back pocket, I've plugged them in before, they've overheated, and even touching them, I thought, oh gosh, that could potentially be of risk. Yeah. How often do you see as a firefighter those kind of things going wrong?
We do see them with increasing regularity nowadays. The issue being, if it's not the manufacturer specific device, you can have the incorrect ampage and compatibility with your device. It may not actually be geared for the UK power system, so again it runs that risk of causing the damage to the cell or just overcharging it and causing damage. And what tends to happen is the cell itself breaks down, that then starts to heat, which heats the cells next to it within the battery, and you go into what's called a thermal runaway. It starts to produce lots of gases. All of these are highly toxic. They're also highly corrosive and highly flammable. Eventually the pressure builds up and it can explode or just burst into flames, and then you've got a major problem on your hands.
Now, if you were to buy a cheap e-bike or a cheap e-scooter, you were telling us earlier that often people will charge them in their doorway, they might go in a communal hallway and plug them in, and because they're cheap, and as we said, you get what you pay for, not only could that potentially set on fire, but it's also preventing someone from being able to escape the building if there was a house fire.
Okay, so this is our first delivery of seized e-bikes and e-scooters. We've got 2 e-bikes that have been seized here that are illegal bikes, and then in the back we've got an e-scooter as well. Now, the thing with these is that they are seized under legislation that's called 1658. Okay, now what that entitles us to do is to seize it because it's been driven otherwise in accordance with a licence, or because it's got no insurance. Now, in order to get it back, you would have to prove that you've got those relevant documents. No insurance company is going to insure one of these e-bikes or an e-scooter because they can't. So you're never going to get it back, and that's the thing you have to remember, that if your e-bike or your e-scooter is seized, you will not get it back because we're not allowed to give it to you back, and it will just go for destruction. Careful, because it's on now. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
What with these type of models, they're very sneaky. What they do is they, within the control panel, you can switch from walk assist.
Yeah.
So if somebody stops you right now, then oh yeah, it's fine, it's compliant, it's got walk assist or whatever.
Until you put it on number 5.
To full throttle, yeah, you switch across.
Yeah. Now, this is one of the bikes that's just come in, and if we have a closer look at it, we can try and explain why this bike is illegal. Now, I mean, this doesn't make it necessarily illegal, but this thing weighs an awful lot. It's a chunk of a bike. So think about it. What's the difference between this and a motorbike? Because it's still twist and go. It still weighs a lot. But for a motorbike, you would need your insurance, you would need your helmet, you would need to tax it, you would need a license, and everything that you need for a motorbike. And effectively, that's what you need for this as well. If we look at this one, so if we put it in walk assist mode, so it's on number 1 there, and lift up the back wheel, we can see that's quite slow pace, even though it's on the speedo. It's saying 9 miles an hour, but obviously the wheel is off the floor, so that's not entirely accurate. But that's quite low power there. So if we then put it onto its top power, which is number 5, lift up the back wheel, the speedo is now showing 30.2 miles per hour. And that's pretty quick. It's not pedal assisted, that is all its own power, so this bike is illegal. And all consequences of getting caught riding one of these is, yeah, it's going to be seized, like we've explained, you can't get it back, but also you can get your points and your fine as you would as if you were driving a motorbike without the documents that you need. So it's exactly the same principle. If you don't have a driving license, then a ghost license is created for you, and those points are put onto that ghost license. So when you do come to learn to drive, you've already got 6 points for no insurance on your driving license. So you have to be really, really careful with it. It's just not worth taking a risk.
Now, you guys join me at Satini in Saltash, just outside of Plymouth, and I'm going to run you through the non-negotiables when it comes to buying an e-bike that won't have you pulled over by the police and also means your bike won't get seized, because this is completely road legal. Now, this particular bike in mention is a Specialized Tero, and what makes it legal is the fact that it hasn't got a throttle, it's pedal assist, and it's limited to 15.5 miles an hour. Now, why would you want to buy a pricey thing just like this? This is the sports car of e-bikes. You're not going to get pulled over. It's got really good parts. There's a guarantee, there's a warranty. This is the way you should be doing things. Buying something like this means that you can actually use it on the road completely legally, and it's not breaking any laws. And while I understand it's tempting to save money, some of the cheaper companies just don't care about the law. So try and avoid those and make sure you stick to something like this. No throttle, pedal assist, and it's limited to 15.5 miles an hour. So Owen, how did today go? You've been seizing a few e-bikes and e-scooters. Help me understand how it went.
So today we've seized 15 e-bikes that are illegal to use on the roads, plus a couple of e-scooters. But also on top of that, we've had one disqualified driver and also somebody in custody for an immigration offence as well. So it just goes to show that it's not just about the e-bike itself. Sometimes it's people that are using them. So yeah, hopefully from what we've shown you today about some of the bikes, what's legal, what's not legal, plus the stuff that Fire told you about charging these things, because I mean, look at this. Do you really want to be plugging that into the mains? And
Fire risk that, don't you think?
if you were living in a block of flats, would you want somebody else plugging that into the mains in your
Probably
flats?
not.
No, I certainly wouldn't. But yeah, some of this stuff is really, really dangerous for more reasons than one.
So what are the takeaway points then from this video and what we've learned today on e-bikes and e-scooters?
So I think what we've seen today is that there is a place for e-bikes and e-scooters. When you look at the green agenda and sustainable travel, there is a place for them, but sadly at the moment the legislation doesn't support the use of certain e-bikes and of course e-scooters. So it's about, if you are looking for that mode of transport, to find one that is legal, and we have looked today at the legal aspects of it as well as those that are illegal. So don't make the wrong choice, make the correct choice. If you're a parent as well and it's coming up to Christmas, please look at the legislation and what you can and can't buy for your child, because what we don't want to be doing is seizing e-scooters from children. That's not what we're here for.
So we're back again with the public. We want to know, are e-scooters good or bad?
But I think they can be quite threatening to some members of the public.
They're not the safest things in the world, used irresponsibly, but I mean, it's better than pedaling sometimes.
What do you think could be changed then with e-scooters and e-bikes to make them safer for all people on the road?
Just road awareness really for young people, just like there's some certain do's and don'ts, don't fly up the wrong side of the road doing wheelies.
Both are good. I'm an e-scooter user on, I think it's called Voy, down in Portsmouth, where my son's at uni. Okay. So we cut across to Southsea, have some lunch. He gets around on them. There's a little bit of dedication for them. Everybody is expecting them to be there, and you take them back to a controlled zone so they don't get left all over the place.
Well, they're really good when you live at the top of a hill like I do, and they keep you not using a car and they keep you getting out. But I know that people get quite nervous when I go past on my big bike, even though I ring the bell really carefully.
I wanted to end with Roz, as I now realise that while e-bikes and e-scooters can sometimes be linked to crime, they also provide affordable and accessible transport for so many people. It's not about labelling them as good or bad, it's about putting the right regulations in place to make them safe for all. Now quickly, as we end today's video, Road Angel are doing the Caught on Camera Challenge. Now anything that's happened that's wild on the road, things that you wouldn't believe possible, we want you guys to submit your dashcam footage below. Now there is a 15% discount code to anyone that uses the link below that's active as soon as you submit that footage. But if you want to win yourself a dashcam, both front and rear for your car so you can stay safe on the road, you can submit your footage below. A big shout out to Road Angel for supporting me to make these videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one.